Yo, what is up YouTube? So today we're gonna make a video of me reacting to the Reddit post, natty or juiced, people thinking I'm on the Swazul. And yeah, we're just gonna make a reaction video. Haven't made a video in a long time, so I thought, why not start with something light? So let's get into it. Oh baby. So as you can see, we have a lot of these natty or juiced accusations. I'm gonna click one and we're gonna go through it. Quite simple. Ideally, I'd go through the oldest the oldest post. Oh, even my brother has one. How epic is that? So the oldest post dates here. Justin Lee, been watching his shorts for a while, would like to add, he talks about gaining 40 pounds of muscle in 4 months, and in our video, I recommend watching that as well. Just want to know curiosity. He started addressing his status a while back. I respect him though. Thank you. I'm sorry, 40 BLS of muscle in 4 months is complete BS. Even if you're blasting steroids, you're not getting that much amount of time. Well, let's clarify that now. Yes, you are correct. 40 pounds of straight muscle in a short period of time is extremely ridiculous. Even if you're taking anabolic steroids, you're probably not going to reach that. So in my case, did I gain 40 pounds of muscle? No. I may have claimed that in the past because I probably had no idea what I was talking about or wanted some clickbait. But I believe I did say 40 pounds of mass. Mass isn't deferring against fat mass and muscle mass. I just said mass. And so if you're actually looking at the amount of muscle mass I gained, I probably gained around, in that period of training, I probably gained a solid 10 to 15 pounds. And this is of noob gains. I gained a lot of water, which you're going to gain a lot of water when you're gaining weight. And I gained a lot of fat too. So I looked bigger, but wasn't necessarily lean, so it was just big and fluffy. These comments are pretty good. Not natty, his physique is probably achievable. Natty with 5+ years of experience is a bit too good list for natty. I'd say 70% natty, 30% and 30% natty. Oh, 70% not natty, 30% natty. So I agree. My physique hasn't really been like prioritized for bodybuilding, and that's actually what I'm doing now. Is I'm actually going strictly for bodybuilding. I want to get big. This person's not wrong. Like, my physique isn't crazy. It's not something that you can't achieve without anabolics, of course. He's been training seriously for 7 years. He's educated, intelligent, respect aspects. Don't see any problem with any lifts. Omar Isos has very similar lifts, long time power like Justin. He has good genetics and even better brain. So see, there's a lot of nice people in this Reddit, surprising. So thank you for everyone defending me. Dude's bench goes up 105 pounds, squat goes up by 90 pounds, deadlift goes up to 180 pounds at the same time. He still says he's still 18 after all of it. So we're looking at maybe 8 to 9 months. He grew 100 pounds in 3 lifts using completely different muscle groups. Nah, bro, this guy, this guy's as juicy as a case of kiwi Snapple. See, the thing is, when you're like 16 to like 18 years of age, even to like 20, you're still in puberty. And I've always been like under eating, always been on the lower bound of what's considered optimal for muscle gain, bodybuilding. Even my older days of jiu-jitsu, I wasn't really counting macros. I wasn't really thinking about size as like muscle mass. I was just thinking about eating enough to not be hungry and to be alive. So it's crazy what happens from a physiological standpoint when you actually put certain key variables together, such as the amount of time spent in the gym, your consistency, which compounds on itself, and then you add in proper nutrition with periodization and progressive overload, you're going to have crazy results. And the reason why I believe I had such a crazy like short period of time is I had a lot of these variables aligned when I was 18 years of age. As a lot of you know, I started training at 14 years of age. Didn't really know what I was doing in the gym or with nutrition. But I had an idea as I progressed through that 1 year of training before I transitioned to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And so when I was doing Jiu-Jitsu, even though I specified that I wasn't optimized for training or for building muscle mass with my intake, nutrition, and training, I still was knowledgeable. So having those things in the back of my mind, I knew what it took to have the optimal recipe to have these gains. So I ate enough calories, ate enough protein, stayed consistent in the gym, trained 5 to 6, actually trained 6 days a week because I always wanted to train. If it wasn't bodybuilding, I'd be doing compound movements, and often I'd be doing both. But there's only so many times you could squat a week before your joints start to be like crying. and likewise with bench and deadlifts. So yeah, I think it's funny because with a good coach, with good coaching and good structuring, you would realize that you will get new gains regardless of where you're at if you had no previous structure. It just happened to be that I was in puberty, young, was not really fully grown. I was fully grown height-wise, but I didn't fill my frame out. At 6'1", I was 165 pounds with like no training and no real nutrition intake. So I was just kind of eating whatever I want and doing whatever I want at like a body of 165 pounds while training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 5 to 6 times a week, which is like pure cardio. So from a base standpoint, I had a pretty good base. So it's not totally unreasonable that I gained a decent amount of weight once I stopped Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is like cardio, and started eating, started prioritizing nutrition and sleep while I was in my first year of university. And yeah, instead of studying, I made some serious gains. He most likely ran a cycle of SARMs just to cut corners if I had to guess. SARMs was not popular in 2015. Obviously it was around because it's been around for like a decade, but I barely knew what a steroid was. I didn't know like what it was now. We didn't have Derek Moore plates. We didn't have a bunch of people speaking on it as we are now. Of course, if I wanted to go on bodybuilding.com or some sort of website to get information, I could have. But again, that wasn't my interest at the time. Never really looked into taking anabolics. And when I started working out, it was actually to have a healthier lifestyle while pushing myself mentally and physically. So obviously, I'm not going to take something like a SARMs, which is absolutely going to destroy your hormones, natural hormones. And so personally speaking, I don't want to be dependent on anything. In fact, yeah, so I do not want to mess with my hormones. I want to see how far I can go before I even consider something like TRT. If I'm not in a good overall health status, I'm not going to even jump on TRT when I'm like 40. It's just not worth it. All right, let's move on to the next one. So that was 6 months. Now let's go to 3 months. So let's read this first. Natty Your Juice posted by Cancerous115 3 months ago. Fake Natty, Justin Lee, Natty Your Juiced. Let's see this. Even on steroids, I put on 26 pounds of lean body mass and nearly 10 pounds of that instant water gain. True. That's exactly what I was saying earlier, is that I gained a lot of water weight. Oh wait, even on steroids, never mind. So, but hell, I would argue that when you're a teenager and you're going through puberty, it's probably more potent than you taking a cycle of steroids. So I was literally not done puberty, but it's still funny to read this. That's not 40 pounds of muscle. There we go. It's not 40 pounds of muscle. It's 40 pounds of mass. Not even lean mass, mass. So we got some fat and we got some water. Water is still a part of lean mass. So Natty with amazing leverages. I would say yes, amazing leverages for maybe the deadlift, but even that, if I had amazing leverages, I wouldn't have to round my back so exaggerated to find a comfortable starting position. Mind you, I don't round my back because I want to cut range of motion, blah, blah. It just feels more natural when I'm deadlifting, and I feel like I'm going to get an injured back from having too far forward over the bar with my current leverages. So I do force that round so I can get in the optimal starting position, and it does feel really good. Squats, I have long ass femurs, which is not really super good in terms of leverages for powerlifting, because I don't think I have the greatest leverages for powerlifting. And I have zero arching abilities on bench press, and I have long ass arms. My height is around 185, and I think my wingspan's around like 6'4". So I do have long arms, but that's good for deadlifts and not so good for bench press. So I suck at the bench, I suck at the squat. Thank God I have long arms for deadlifts. I would say I have very average leverages, to be quite honest. I don't have terrible leverages, but I have very average leverages. As natty as the meat in McNuggets. Oh shit. What are you talking about? McNuggets is great. Don't bash chicken nuggets. They're amazing. So that, we're just gonna go through that one. 80% sure. How can you have 83% sure that I'm natty? And there's just so much hearsay in this comment section regarding him, and there's no proof posted as what's being claimed whatsoever. So I'm natural. I'll say that right now. I'm natty. I do have a piss test I did for my meet that they haven't responded me my email. But yeah, if you think getting his physique requires steroids, they boy are standards low. Not taking away anything from him, but visually wise, he's not someone that just creams steroids. Interesting choice of words. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't look jacked yet. I'm going to get really jacked 2022. That's my goal. And so I want to look like cream, just cream steroids. I'm going to look like I just cream steroids. At least I'll try it. And then if, it doesn't go well, I'm just going to powerlift again. So I wish I could cream steroids. Watching his form range motion in his videos, I highly doubt he's building a natty physique training like that. Then you're just wrong because I'm natural. So I love how people always be like, oh, just judging by his form, if you look, he didn't do this right, so like he should get injured, or it's not efficient, he'd be way stronger, he'd gain 50 pounds if he just made this one change. Like, no, shut up, that's not how this thing works. People train a certain way, and yeah, if you do this, please don't think like this. It's terrible. So there's many ways to train. You don't have to be one specific way. Sure, it might help in the long run, but I'd argue if you train a certain way and then you make these changes are going to add 50 pounds to your squat, bench, deadlift, there's going to be a regression period, and then there's going to be that adaptation period before it happens. So it's pretty stupid when I hear people say, you have to make this change right away because you're instantly going to get weaker because it's not something you're used to training. And so whenever you're going to make a change, it's expected to feel some sort of regression, at least stagnation. So yeah, that's my rant on that. I don't know if it's useful or not. Probably not. If you think getting his physique requires steroids, okay, I just read that. I know his physique is pretty fucking sick, especially if it's natty. If you want to get much bigger than that, your BB, body dysmorphia, is bad. My body dysmorphia is pretty bad. But no, like, I do talk, like, jokingly that I'm not big, or I just want to get huge, or I'm small. But, like, this isn't really negative self-talk where I'm like, oh, I hate my size, I'm so small. It's more like motivation, like, yeah, you're not big, like, you're not strong, you're not this. It's like, keep going. It's not, like, too serious, And so I think when people, like, hear me say, like, oh, I'm looking small, like, oh, arms looking small, not like what I want. It's lighthearted talk. It's not serious. So obviously I don't think I'm small. That'd be messed up to be 210 pounds at like 6'1" with not crazy amount of fat to be considered small. If you think that's small, then you do have body dysmorphia. This guy is right. But I appreciate the comment, thinking I have a good physique. But yeah, I think my physique is slightly above average, but not far above that. His brother is juicing too. His brother is juicing too. Sad. He's not. He actually has a P test that he sent me, like the P test we done. He got his results. I didn't get my results back, but he passed his P test. So obviously, is he on stuff? No. It was WADA P test, meaning you had to take your pee, toss in a couple jars, do some chemistry, and very official. Like, they're very serious when you do a P test. So we are not juicing, but you can think what you want. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether I say we are juicing or not, because one, it doesn't really affect anyone's life. Two, it doesn't affect my life. Like, probably get more clout being, yeah, I'm on storm steroids. And three, like, honestly, who cares? Who cares? If I were to do something like that, or not saying I did do anything like that, but if I were to do something like that, all the consequences that would result from doing something like that would be on me. Likewise, if someone else was going to take steroids, it's just consequences that you're not going to see now, but you're going to see probably 10 to 20 years from now. And in my opinion, like, my value is that I think that if you do something like that, it'll be a terrible decision, because when I started fitness, the goal is to have a better long-term health. So I wouldn't do it out of that mere fact that the short-term gain is just not worth it. I have everything I wanted from natural aspects. Why would I want anything more? It's not gonna help really with social media. There's a lot of jack guys are on steroids and they're not that much more popular and don't really have anything else going for them. So what does that say about taking steroids? Is it really gonna make you someone else? Is it gonna make you special, different? Depends on the person, I guess. Me, not worth it. Looks natty but claims 40 pounds in 4 months is horse shit. He's a dumbass for even saying that. If he's using gear, looks like shit. Serious, if he's natty, that's good. So I did say 40 pounds in 4 months, but it's 40 pounds of water, muscle, and mostly fat. So you can gain a lot of weight in puberty. I said it many times before. Cool. That's all I can say. I don't know what original post for smoking, but Justin never said he gained 40 pounds in 4 months. He's bodybuilding since he's 14 now. I may have said that, and it was true. I did have a crazy transformation. I did gain a lot of weight. Then started lifting, went from 195 squat to 495. So no, he isn't natty, and fix your grammar. Well, this is true. I did actually go from day one. My first squat at 165 pounds was 185, and then never trained squats like since I was like 15. So I had a really good starting point. And I went from like squatting once a week to 3 times a week. And the first month I hit 3 plates after getting a belt, knee sleeves, and all the powerlifting equipment, which is very possible. So, Juice, he makes 100 videos talking about being natty and steroid arms. Dude was a stick before, and during quarantine, he exploded out of nowhere. Actually, I want to address this, where my first lockdown, I went from 205, pretty lean, dropped down to 188. And the reason why I did that was because I had really bad depression. That's like a story for another video. But when you're depressed and you stop training entirely because it's lockdown and you don't want to spend money on a home gym. I was in school, so that adds on to more stress. Was not eating, wasn't training. I lost a lot of weight, and I'm not like completely newbie or super like worried because I knew how muscle memory works, and if you have a lot of weight loss, it's easy to get back, especially if a lot of it is water weight, which honestly a lot of it was muscle mass because it took a while to get back to these numbers once I started training. But yeah, and he squat 555, bench 330s in a meet in October. Jacked pre-quarantine, exactly. Yep, I went off my steroids in quarantine. Not because I didn't have a gym, wasn't depressed, and, whatever life event was going on, it was because I didn't have steroids. Off cycle. Know him personally, guy is natty as fuck. Sub is retarded, popular opinion. Too wrong, misinterpret. Shorts. I think Justin has made mistakes by saying things without validating them, and that allows for them criticism. All aside, I've known him for a couple of years. This is hard work, very good checks. Stop lying, you don't know him. Well, he does know me. Well, I do know him. We trained at Le Gym, Concordia Gym. It's annoying how he behaves. He's on a moral high for being natty while juicing. He boasts about not worrying about bicep tear while deadlifting if you're natty. It's like he's desperately trying to force the idea that he's natty in all his posts. Verdict, fake natty, insecure. Everyone who starts gear early are insecure anyways. What the hell? I mean, if I am natty, I want to say that I'm natty so that I could tell you. And if I was an unnatty, wouldn't I be pulling freaking, what is this, hook grip? Because I'd be worried about bicep tear? When I just talked about the video in the bicep tear, talking about why I don't worry about mixed grip tearing a bicep when I pulled mixed grip. What's the thought process there, buddy? Okay, let's move on to the other one. This one was 2 months ago. Notorious fake natty. His physique, natty attainable. It is, but don't expect from his pathetic starting point as a late teenager to looking at this at 20. Building a natural physique and solid base of strength takes years. It took me like 4 years, 5 years of consistent training since I was 18. So your point proven. So the timeline of when I started lifting at 18 is I want to get as big as possible, held a lot of fat, a lot of water weight, maintain, main gain. People hate on Greg Doucette for saying that main gain is like bullshit or something, but I've done it, didn't even know what it was called at the time, just kind of stayed at the same weight because honestly, I was not happy at being super watery and chunky. I just wanted to see where things would go if I just kept working the gym, just keep using progressive overload, and who would have thought, and who would have thought you would just get a little bit leaner. So that's what I've done, and now when people see me post my progression about it, when I essentially did all the things right, I get like dunked on, saying that I had a weak starting point, when in fact I feel like I had a great starting point as a natural lifter. But yes, I guess it's hard to believe for some people because, well, genetics isn't something you get to choose. So I feel for the people that would think this is very unfair because obviously I wasn't handed garbage genetics. I was handed actually really good genetics. And you mix good genetics with hard work, you're going to have good results. It's hard to please everyone in this world. So you can't always please everyone. Nor do I really care about anyone really believing if Maddie or not, because I'm going to get drug tested continuously while I compete in powerlifting and maybe even bodybuilding, foreshadowing 2022. We'll see. Yep, I guess that's good. Well, let's do my brother's video next. Juice City. A friend of mine is very close to them, swears they're natty, but I doubt it. Although my friend has told me a few things. A few of his fake natty friends who've gotten world titles in powerlifting, in natural powerlifting. Are we talking about close friends or Instagram follower friends? Because I don't have any friends that have titles in natural powerlifting. Interesting. Alright, Dylan and Justin, brothers of Tristan Lee. No, because we're above 5'5". Natty achievable if this was actually 10 years consistent training. Edit, never mind, I was going off the first row. I see that he's definitely... Oh, what are you talking about? He's natural. My brother's natural. And we both laugh when we see this because it's hilarious. Look, he's commenting right here. I sent him. It's probably some of the best arm insertions I've ever seen. Probably is, to be honest. I wish mines were like that. This is probably the sockiest bicep insertions. Or maybe I didn't train them hard enough. Okay, so now let's see the last post. Justin Lee claims natty and has been training for 10 years. He is unfortunately sponsored by Greg Doucette. Da da da. I see this and all I see is it's good, but I'm not like anything special. Okay. This guy's 100% natty. Go look at his transformation timeline. He's got gains like 4 times faster than natty lifters would. And oh wait, not natty. This guy's 100% not natty. Go look at his transformation timeline. He's got gains like 4 to 5 times faster than natty lifters would. He also a record holding power lifter. He just isn't shredded, so his gullible teenagers fall and believe that he's natty. You mean I have a record in a drug tested federation under WADA, and so what this shows you is that one, if you have a good physique and you gain some popularity, there's not going to be much winning when trying to defend yourself. And so I don't really spend a whole lot of time even trying to defend myself. Like, this video is not really me defending myself. It's just kind of out of entertainment because, first of all, I don't really care. There's not much benefit for me claiming natural, and it's cool to see like that people are like, oh, he's fake natty. But it's almost better to see people like hating on you for not being natty because it's like an ego thing. But if I'm being honest, like, I don't really care. Asians have amazing genetics for strength. There's a guy on YouTube who bench 4 plates at 160. I think it's AUE powerlift, UIF powerlifting or something. I don't remember his name, but he's a family strong as heck. That guy has amazing bench genetics. I wish I had that. And he has like no arch too. Probably also a juicer. Oh, this guy's a straight up hater. Also a juicer. Regardless, the most suspicious thing about Justin is how rapidly he progressed. He went from a little weak twig to a big strong dude in time frame. It's extreme. to be natural. Just doesn't have an impressive physique for a Reuter, which isn't that strange given his poor genetic baseline, so people believe when he claims natty. Just imagine how massive I'd get if I took steroids and didn't give a shit about my health. Probably get really huge. This kid isn't natural. He made years of worth of lifts. This kid is a natural. He made years worth of lift and physique progress in like 6 months of lifting after starting like a poverty chicken malnourished child. How do people even come up with these? Poverty stricken malnourished child. What did I do to deserve this? Anyways, just kidding. But I'll show you a picture of how I looked, because when you take solo selfies, it's always more deceiving than when you're standing next to someone. When I was 165 pounds at 6'1", after my jiu-jitsu days, I wasn't like tiny. I had a pretty big frame, just wasn't filling out the frame. And so I had chicken legs and I had shoulders that were bony, which is like, you could tell when someone has a good frame for building muscle mass. And if you have a big frame, there's a good chance that you're going to be bigger. And so it just happens to be that I've gained a lot of size because I had a big frame. Ta-da! Looks achievable natty, but nobody here thinks it is. I'm the only one with this guy. He's not natural. Okay. I think he's similar case to David Lade. David Lade was on SARMs. There's no doubt in my mind. He would have competed in a meet and actually try to compete when he was at the peak of his physique. I, on the other hand, did everything I said, dropped from 218 to 200 pounds in like 12 weeks of dieting and got not shredded, but I got leaner and also obviously a lot of water weight, and I was still able to perform, which is not easy. Weights is lifts. He's a powerlifter, gets tested regularly, shows. Fooled, they aren't blood tested. To be fair, there's a good point for and against him being natural. I guess I'd just say he's natty because he wouldn't risk his career to boost his lifts. Could be wrong. Can you see why it could be? Just my 2 cents. Well, this is a very fair opinion because one, like, well, P tests are good. Blood tests are, you can still fuck up a blood test. But playing devil's advocate, if I were to do a lot of drugs, I'd just not get tested frequently, and I would try to avoid frequent testing, which is pretty much what I'm doing now. Because look, I'm like stuck in lockdown. I'm not gonna compete for a good while. I want to do nationals, but I'm not doing nationals now that gyms are closed. But yeah, there's not much benefit to being a fake natty. I would not think that people would care that much, and people be like, that's respect. It's almost like I should jump on something to have that appraisal, but there's no winning, so interesting. I get your point, but I don't think David Lade's the best example. David Lade literally has a physique of Greek god. Shred your around one of his physiques ever. Especially for someone who doesn't compete, people would sell their soul for his physique. I give both my kidneys and my kids' knees to look like David Lade. Natty. There you go. Well, -1 for this guy. Yes, this is achievable natty. His physique in the picture is, yes. In the other picture, it looks kind of juicy. Well, that's with every Instagram photo, is that you want to take very, very sus photos so you can look bigger. Didn't Buddy come out and say his facial hair isn't natty? Well, facial hair isn't natty because I use minoxidil on my face, which isn't an anabolic steroid. It's just something that makes blood flow go to your face, not a hormone. I haven't taken any hormones, haven't taken anything to really mess with my hormones ever. The most craziest supplement I took was creatine, protein powder, and some pre. What's wrong with being sponsored by Greg Doucette? I looked at it, still don't see anything wrong with the community. Group criticizing that Greg has better and more information than I have. Fitness and besides the subreddit is basically dead with almost half a year ago. So true. He's natty, you DI while ease. He's extremely fine. Bro. Okay, I'm just gonna skip that. Well, hope you enjoy this video. That's me seeing if I'm natty or not. If you guys like these videos of me talking and kind of like going on a tangent, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll make another video because these videos are a lot easier now that I have a setup. Wow. Anyways, peace out. See you on the YouTube Shorts.